Buddy, this is Rydo, and we're back to another recording of Hearthstone. Today is Wednesday, December 12th. We're on the European account now. We don't have a full thing here. We just need to re-roll something. Do I want to win one game with a warrior rogue or two games in general? Let's re-roll this. Now that made it worse. Alright, well, rogue or warrior in the tavern brawl to start off with. Let's try warrior and see how that works. This will probably almost certainly be a rush warrior deck, which I kind of think I know how to play. We don't have a huge amount of news to cover, but I do kind of want to just burn through it too. Like every time I have one of these streams, I'm trying to limit it down to 2 episodes, 2 recordings that are shorter. So let's see. Start with things I can do. None of those really look like I can do. And we'll re-roll. Can't really do any of those either. Alright, so we've got a game on Steam called the Indie Game Legend 3D. It doesn't look bad, but it does look like it is just an effort to like a Doom clone with a lot of really old game ideas just done terribly. Looks kind of like it's a half-polished meme game. Let's see. $8.99 is really expensive for an early access game. I don't think so. So, yeah, this one just does not catch my attention. Let's see. And of course, the developer hasn't developed anything else to potentially convince me that it's better than it seems. In almost the exact same mentality of retro being cool, we have a game called Retro Wing Prime, which is just an Asteroids clone. Seriously, just these Asteroid clones alone need somebody looking at them and going, what is going on here? We don't need 10,000 Asteroids games. So, like, honestly, I guess it really wouldn't stop anybody who's just trying to get a few dollars off selling a game. But if Steam came back to people and said, hey, there's 10,000 Asteroid style games already on Steam, there's no reason for us to allow one more unless you can give us a major justification. Your game will not sell. Let's see. Rush. Already talked about this, but Gamasutra has an article citing support issues. Epic stopped selling the Infinity Blade games. That sucks, certainly. Let's see. Gamefight Armor. Next, we have a game on Steam called Jumper Trees, which looks awful. Like, just total garbage in the animation department. MS Paint level. Discounted for $3.74, which is quite high. See, I really would like more people to watch the end of the year Steam wishlist cleanup, because it really paints a great just depiction of where the good games are on Steam, what the good games that are even considerable are compared to what just comes out at random, because what comes out at random is really, really bad on average. There's about 2, maybe 3,000 games on my wish list. It's probably the 2,000 or 3,000 games you'd want to play on Steam. Let's see. What? Why did that guy die? What did I just do? Apparently he had only 1 health. Next we have a game on Steam I can't show you called Horror Girl Puzzle, which looks sort of like an H.R. Giger-esque animations, although I would not really put it as too much like Giger as much as taking influence from Giger as well as several other characters, animators, famous art styles. And it's just a spin the tile around puzzle. It's not even a slide tile puzzle game. It's tagged with nudity, but I'm not sure too many people want to see the images that are being shown here, like in any kind of fetishistic way. It's more of a art nouveau type thing. It's discounted for $1.19. It basically feels like the artist themselves
my dragon be hungry.
Is simply trying to sell his art more than he's trying to actually try to sell a game. Which, I don't know, I mean, is that something now that Tumblr is stopping all of the people from posting their content on Tumblr, or are we gonna start seeing now more things like this on Steam? I doubt it. It's too much work. This developer also has developed a lot of random looking games, so yeah, I don't think Horror Girl Puzzle is one that's worth talking about or putting on the follow list. Gametsu has an article. Super Robot Wars T launches March 20th in 2019 in Japan. Interesting, I suppose. I'm not sure that this game would actually transfer over. Seems like it's coming out for the Switch and the PS4. It's a Bandai Namco game. Seems like this guy isn't playing any more than I am. Alright. Copy all the dragons in your hand. So if I was to do this, and then do this, and then do something like this,
job's done.
Well, that solves that. That was too easy. Had a network connection issue or something, I would guess. But I'm not really loving this Tavern Brawl any more than I like any of the others. So I'm not gonna jump back in it and try again. There really has only been about a handful of Tavern Brawls since they introduced Tavern Brawls that were even slightly interesting. I'm not sure I dusted the extra cards in the Americas account. Alright, theoretically I could move over to the Asian account right now, but let's just see if we can get a couple of Shaman victories as we cover the news. and yeah, get up on rank. So we have this game on Steam called Conveyor VR, which again is a game that seems like you're doing a job, and a boring and monotonous job, but that doesn't look very polished or interesting at all. It seems pretty ridiculous. Early access requires VR, $19.99. So yeah, not making it to the list. This is probably a little too inside baseball, but Gematsu has an article. The Last Labyrinth announces Stephanie Joustin, that's Joostn, as the lead voice actress. This virtual reality escape the room game is due out in the spring of 2019. This is a very Japanese looking game, I will say, just by the one screenshot character alone. Let's see. Stephanie Joustin voiced Quiet in Metal Gear Solid 5: The Phantom Pain. I don't know how much dialogue Quiet actually spoke. Thus her name Quiet. She'll be voicing the mysterious girl Katie, Katia, Katia, in the upcoming virtual reality escape the room game called Last Labyrinth. There's a movie coming out in the United States that's like called Escape Room that looks like it might be slightly interesting to watch in a Saw-esque idea without going as torture porn as Saw went. More Rube Goldberg and puzzles and escape the room ideas. So if it succeeds, coming out either in January or December, whenever it actually comes out, which is probably not the best time slot to release any new movie. If it does succeed, though, that could be the beginning of a new series, because everything is potentially the beginning of a new series, and the Saw series certainly has been played out long enough that anything short of a full-on reboot and going in a different direction completely wouldn't even give it a chance, and frankly they need to take a lot of extra time. Let's see, it says Last Labyrinth will launch as a digital-only title for the PlayStation VR and PC for HTC Vive, Oculus Rift, and Windows Mixed Reality headset worldwide spring 2019. So the idea and the hope would be eventually that it loses its VR only aspect, and maybe I could play it then. Next we have a game on Steam called Jets and Guns 2, which, let's see, looks like it's, well, I'm not really sure what it is. It looks kind of like a bullet hell shooter, but also seems like it might be a platformer. Let's just see how this goes. Well, it looks like it's a bullet hell shooter for the most part, and that's just a style of game I don't think I'd ever play. I might try Super R-Type, like some really famous arcade shooters of this series, but even then I probably would just do a spotlight and go, okay, well these games are not for me. I know these games are not the kind of games I like to play. There's too much on the screen, it's too distracting. I just don't have the mind for it. Early access, $11.99 for Jets and Guns 2. Not for me, so I'm not gonna put it on the fall list. see. If I did this, and then did this, and then did this, and this, and
The
that,
calm before the storm.
and then
Mushroom
that,
punch!
and then that. Next we have a game on Steam called Frog Demon, which seems like a shoot 'em up game with platforming combined. At least that's a combination of things. Unfortunately, this looks like it is kind of like a Super Meat Boy style platformer game where the platforming might get really difficult later on. And it is still kind of just a bullet hell shoot 'em up game, so it's still really not ticking the boxes to the type of game I'd want to play. $9.99. This might be good though. I'm not sure. The developer hasn't made anything else, so yeah, unsure about that.
Take shelter.
Mushroom punch!
Let's see.
How long can this go on? How long?
And this comes in the turn. Next we have a game on Steam called Dark Dire, which looks like it's an RPG Maker game. I'm wondering if maybe just the RPG Maker tag has been completely removed. Like, because I haven't seen anything with RPG Maker in the tag in several weeks. So we made it to rank 20, we got our victory. Let's just play again and try again. See, next we have a game on Steam called Slightly Heroes, which kind of looks like a Splatoon paintball style of game. Casual multiplayer shooter for VR.
Your soul shall be mine for Doomhammer.
Well, requiring VR, being discounted for $7.99, but really not having any single player experience, it seems like, because it says it right here, casual multiplayer shooter. Like, the idea might have been slightly interesting, but the premium to get into this is really high to have VR. Let's come over here and switch out some cards. Yeah, I don't even think Slightly Heroes needs to be on the follow list. If you're interested in a casual shooter in VR, then this probably is a pretty good game, but it's not anything else to say about it. You really have to already own a headset and be committed. Gamatsu has an article. The Caligula Effect Overdose for Switch launches March 14th in Japan. I guess the Caligula Effect Overdose is a different story than the Caligula Effect, which seems like it had only come out like a few months ago. So I'm a little surprised that they've already got some other game by that name, whether it's a spin-off game or a sequel or what. But I think, interestingly though, the subtitle here is that it's due out days after the Western release, so the Western release is going to happen first, which almost never happens for video games from Japan. Of course, I don't know how many people are going to be buying or playing the Caligula Effect. Give this one a boost and add a random elemental to my hand. Probably a smart move. let's see. TechRaptor has an article, Gungrave VR review - bury it deeper. Now Gungrave is based off an anime series that happened like in the 80s, and there was like a Gungrave NES game, I think. But you really haven't heard a lot from Gungrave in a long time. And Gungrave, probably the anime was probably based off of a manga, as that typically is the case.
How long can this go on? How long can this go on?
But I don't know what the story really is, or anything else about it. It's certainly not popular or well known these days. It's not even following what is modern anime aesthetics. It's an old 80s, 90s anime aesthetics, so there's no moe art styles, super deformed chibi art styles. It's more the hardcore, lots of guns, lots of leather jackets and giant guns and belts on everything. Belts on your shoulders.
A minion with taunt is in the way.
Free me!
Honestly, I think if they were gonna do something like this, you probably wouldn't use Gungrave. You would use what is the Vash the Stampede as the name of the character, but I don't remember the name of the show.
I wonder.
And I'm not 100% sure that I ever bought that show, so I don't think I have it on DVD. So I can't look on my shelf to figure out the name of it. Incomplete collection there. Yeah, I don't think I bought it.
Everyone has demons.
So yeah, Well, suffice it to say, there was another anime show that was slightly more popular that looks a lot like Gungrave. If you were gonna just try to have some kind of tie-in to what looks like a terrible VR game, at least according to TechRaptor. TechRaptor gave it a 2.5 terrible rating. Someway, despite being only 45 minutes long, Gungrave VR manages to showcase an overwhelmingly high amount of terrible decisions, boring gameplay, and bare-bone plot. The pros are it's mercifully short, and the air bike segment is okay. The cons are bare bones plot, clunky gameplay, cheap boss fights, boring on-rail segments. Trigun. Trigun is the name of the anime. That's it, yeah. I've remembered. Yeah, I don't think I have Trigun. Or maybe I have it in steel cases, and the steel cases don't sit up right on my shelf. So, yeah, I think I do. I have them in steel case DVD cases. I may have briefly mentioned that Neon Genesis Evangelion, to talk about anime, is coming to Netflix. It's kind of surprising to me, being a lapsed anime fan and not really following what has been going on more recently, that they really never seem to release the DVDs of that since the time when I bought the DVDs myself. So like these DVD box set, which probably cost me between $60 to $100 10-15 years ago, it's going for like $500, or it was, at least until Netflix. Maybe Netflix will devalue all of that to nothing. But I knew there was some level of that. I didn't realize it was that bad. 'Cause that is really bad. Let's go ahead and hit this. Hit this. Moving back to video games though, we have a game on Steam called Heaven and Hell, which is a match 3 game. I don't want to immediately reject a match 3 game because it might be good. I don't like the fact that it's got black bars on the side though. I guess what this would come down to is, has this developer made anything else? No. So yeah, I don't think this needs to be on the fall list. If you can't even get it to widescreen in a brand new game, I think that speaks to a lack of quality. And there's already a couple games on the wish list that I think are a little bit better and are a little bit more recognizable. So I'm willing to miss out on this if this turns out to be an amazingly good game, in the hopes that somebody would tell me that it's an amazingly good game. That was the case.
The calm before the storm.
But for now, I am happy with it not going to the fall list. Next we have a game on Steam called The Technician, which looks like it's a VR game around electronics, and I, having been classically educated around electronics a little bit, but certainly there is still a lot to learn. There's some interesting stuff here. That being said, if it's early access in VR, really the only thing I can do is put it on the follow list. And see, I wonder about some of this stuff. This really isn't probably complicated enough to do anything that is realistic. But I kind of wonder if some of this stuff is literally being sold as a video game, but it's actually like some kind of training software for people who work in these factories, i.e. mostly Chinese people working in these factories. But I'll put it on the follow list. It does get close to the idea of playing a game that, let's see, like playing a game that's a job.
Job done.
And they've won. I was one short.
Stop copying me! Stop copying me!
So if he screws up, I guess I could win next turn, but I doubt that's gonna happen. Alright, so what are we still trying to do? Get one more shame and victory. Let's hop in here. Next we have a game on Steam called Suffer, which looks like it's a Doom clone suffering from dark screenshot syndrome terribly. This is just like ugly. Ugly. The developer who made Doom says he's going to make some new Doom levels called Sigil for the original Doom game. But even that, I don't know if it's really something he should be wasting his time on. Like, Doom is historically important, but it's not really something you should spend more than like 5 minutes playing. It would be kind of crazy to try to challenge yourself and even to beat it. unless you're just really old or really into retro games. Modern games are so much better. The Doom reboot is so much better. Like, do those instead. Let's see.
The calm before the storm.
So, as a news reporter, which I consider myself part video game critic, I do report the news, and I try to hold myself to a high level of standards that I can figure out for myself as far as journalistic ethics. If there is something that comes out that is contradictory to your own bias, your own perspective, your own narrative that you're selling, you have a duty to bring it to the public's attention and make it even more prominent, to say, here is the exception. I still may believe these things, but I'm not going to hide evidence that contradicts what I'm saying, what I've said before. News in particular changes very abruptly. You can get it wrong in the rush to get it out early. So you have to be flexible, and you have to be loyal to the truth at all times. So I say all of this because we have here on Steam a game that I assume is called My So-Called Future Girlfriend. It is a visual novel with the anime style on Steam. And there is a point in this trailer where this child-looking character is lifting up her shirt part slightly. Like, I think I can get away with this too. That's just her on her back showing. So if this is evidence, I think, that goes to the rogue employee idea that this game has been allowed when many other games have not been allowed. There is no mature content thing. I think maybe the entire mature content field on Steam may have just fallen down and failed. This game, though, to be fair, is seemingly also a Korean game, not a Japanese game. So if it is a rogue employee inside of Valve that hates visual novels from Japan or China specifically, but loves Korea, so if it was like a Korean nationalist type employee, somebody who's going to give Korean different treatments than other games, that might explain it. But because there's not much difference between a Korean anime visual novel and a Chinese anime visual novel and a Japanese anime visual novels, not in the visuals at least. Storyline might be slightly different. I would almost be alright if Valve came out before all of this happened and simply said that, oh, our system of labeling things and describing the games was just not working for us, so we're gonna put the brakes on approving these games for a while until we can find a better system. Because at least at that point it feels like they're actually working within what they said they were going to do and just identifying a problem. Now, as for this game, My So-Called Future Girlfriend, it's not going to really go on my wish list, but it's kind of nice to see a visual novel actually make it to Steam. We're still seeing a lot fewer than we used to. So It's not as helpful at this point, though, if Valve came out and said, "Oh yes, we found a bug, and that bug is the reason why nothing has been allowed, or the system was just not working the way we wanted it to work, and thus that's the reason why we decided to stop approving visual novel games." Let's see. Moving on from that topic, because this developing story is not going anywhere, and we're getting just little bits of information. Let's see. We have a Gamma Sutra blog called "An IKEA Guide to Steam Product Page That Simply Works." I'd seen a previous person who had made a bunch of templates for making screenshots and thumbnails and such, so you know what to do. This article doesn't seem very in-depth. It has like 10 paragraphs that are barely 3 sentences long, so I don't think it's going to be super helpful for a new developer trying to put their game on Steam and make it look really good. Let's see. Next spell you cast twice.
Well played.
There we go. It's nice to see some wins come out of these are they hsreplay.net decks? Yeah, I think it's hsreplay.net is the website that recommends the decks to you. So we're done with the European account. We can switch over to the Asian account now. Meanwhile, as that's launching, I have a Gamma Sutra article. ZeniMax Media agrees to settle the lawsuit with Facebook VR. ZeniMax Media has agreed to settle the litigation brought against Facebook, Oculus, and others for the unlawful misappropriation of its virtual reality technology. Quote, "We are pleased that the settlement has been reached and are fully satisfied with the outcome," says ZeniMax Chair CEO Robert Altman. Now, the fact that ZeniMax would settle probably means that they were losing, because ZeniMax is very litigious, and people who are very litigious don't typically just decide to stop being litigious. Alright, I've got nothing that overlaps here. Let's see if we can play with Shaman and Warlock and see if we can run into some Death Rattle things too. So we'll try Shaman on the Tavern Brawl. Here's a quote that's a total lie. Quote, "While we dislike litigation, we will always vigorously defend against any infringement or misappropriation of our intellectual property by third parties." Let's see. I'm not sure ZeniMax or Facebook, either one, really wants to go through the hassle and the money right now of continuing that litigation and suing each other, as things tend to get more and more murky for the economy and the stock market and such. We've got this. We've got this. So that's like 2 in-game things right there. So I'm just gonna trade this. Next we have a game on Steam called Elementary Arithmetic Game. It is widescreen, I'll give it that. One would assume that the the math is correct, but it does kind of just seem like a pretty simplistic math game that I don't think that this is the way, even for 59 cents, you should try and teach your kids anything. Inherently, like, the way whatever school your kid is going to tries to teach something through homework and schoolwork and classes should be the system that you should stick with, and you should probably not do any supplemental. If you're going to do supplemental education, you probably need to take them to a actual tutor, somebody who's looking over their shoulder and making sure they're doing it right. Just having them sit in front of a screen is not that good, frankly. I know when I was like studying for the SATs, I don't even know if I was studying for the SATs or if I was just playing with a game that was studying for the SATs per se. There was definitely the software that I went through that I don't think it really did anything helpful. That being said, I almost got a perfect score on the SATs, so maybe. I don't know. I doubt it though. I doubt it had anything to do with studying. I think it 100% had to do with the fact that when I took the SATs, I didn't care. I didn't care if I succeeded or failed, and most tests, the secret to most tests is if you just don't care, you'll do just fine, because they're not designed to really be hard, and people stress themselves out about it all the time. Let's see. So yeah, another game for the fall list. Epic announced that in 2019 they're looking for cross-platform online services as part of their roadmap, which means cross-platform login, friends, presence, as in are they online or not, profile, and entitlements, which who knows what entitlements really means in this instance. Let's see. They also are planning on having a PC Mac overlay API, cross-platform voice comms, cross-platform parties and matchmaking, cross-platform data storage, i.e. cloud saving, and cross-platform achievements and trophies. Seems odd that it's going to be both achievements and trophies, but alright. Play this.
Arena's full. Beat it.
Do I want to kill something, or do I want to just wait? So these could sound like all great things, or you could spin it the other direction and say the Epic Store has launched with none of these things whatsoever. The thing it seems like they won't have as a marketplace yet. They're not talking about that. So no in-game apps or in-game purchases that can be traded or sold like Steam, for better or worse. Let's see, let's kill this. Let's see, do that. Death rattle. Oh, wait. Like no on-game marketplace, no trading cards. I think they've specifically said they're not going to have forums. But there will be some kind of reviews of some sort, maybe for games. So yeah, as a storefront, it's really bare bones. In their first outing, the way they're showing it to people. Okay. Alright, well, this, and then let's just keep on transforming.
Get behind me.
Extraordinary.
Give me a quest.
Let's see.
Hey, good tickets don't come cheap.
Okay, that was something. I don't know if that was enough to win. Probably not. Moving on, TechRaptor has an article. Smash Brothers Ultimate 1.2.0 patch will render previous replays unplayable.
You're in trouble now.
Now this... Let's see. If you have any replays you want to keep, go to the vault and then replays, then replay data and convert to video. The patch notes will be released when the update goes live. So odd that a patch would make old replays not playable at all. I thought this might have been an intentional thing that they were doing because some I lovingly say lunatics in this case were able to glitch out the game and see under like Princess Peach's skirt to see that there was basically nothing there because they didn't animate anything. Normally if you try to look under a skirt you just see a black fog. But I guess that's not the case. Nintendo is a little wary about ridiculousness like that, but I don't think they would. Well, they might go that far, but they didn't seem to go that far this time. And Nintendo's not alone there. There's a lot of games that, at least in the Western release versions, you cannot move the camera below a certain level to look up the skirt of some of the characters. But oddly, a lot of those games also, you can do that in Japan. Which feel like the Japanese are getting a better quality product than I am. If I want to do something in a video game, I should be allowed to do it as an adult. Let's see. Moving on, we have a game called Escape from Fools, which is a top-down twin-stick shooter. It doesn't look terrible, although the animation is pretty bland and generic, but it is just a top-down twin-stick shooter for $1.39 discounted. So yeah, it's not making it to the follow list. GameIndustry.biz has an article, a cursory look at C-Prompt, Age of Empires System Shock developers avoiding spiritual successors, trending new ground in debut effort, heroic operative. Like, I don't have a clue what this article is about. Transform it. Might as well transform it.
Sometimes I forget things.
Ah, but when you transform, it doesn't activate the death rattle. Let's see. Let me see what this article is. C Prompt apparently is the name of the company. I thought they were talking about some kind of programming language I had never heard of. Something like C# or C++. I guess the C Prompt was an old DOS thing. So yeah, this is probably too much of an inside baseball article. Some developers who worked on System Shock and Ages of Empires have moved on to something else, some other company, and they definitely are directly saying they're not making spiritual successors to those games. I don't think they have the rights to them either. TechRaptor has an article. Free Magic the Gathering novella by Brandon Sanderson is available today. So if you're big into Magic the Gathering, this novella, I'd say you can download it for free at www.mtgstory.com. No spaces or anything. I don't have a clue what the actual story or characterizations of anything that's happening in Magic the Gathering would be. Like, I don't think it's anything, honestly. Right, spell cast twice.
Lightning can strike twice.
Actually lost here. He goofed around too much, and I won. Interesting. Well, that saves me in frustration with the Tavern Balls. Really didn't have to bang my head against the Tavern Balls today. That's great. We'll see what happens next week. Be nice if we got a nice card, an epic and a rare. That's a pretty good turnout. That's pretty good. Let's see, and we can disenchant 4 of those cards right now. Build up our dust reserves for the next expansion, and that just leaves us with. We need 1 more Shaman card, and then we're gonna have to try and figure out if either Shaman or Warlock cards have Death Rattle in my decks. I guess we could look. Let's just look. What is my token Shaman as far as what cards have Death Rattle in them? Nothing. Nothing for Shaman. Let's look at Warlock. Nothing for Warlock. Hunter is probably a Spell Hunter, which would mean no Death Rattle cards. Warrior, was that an option? I may straight up have to build just a Death Rattle deck. Yep. Druid was the other one. So unless Token Druid has some Death Rattles in it. Like none. This is ridiculous. Ridiculous. Warlock or Shaman to start off with. Sweet. We'll try Zoo Warlock, play this, do this. Gamasutra has an article. Analyst claims new ethics committee could spark licensing restart. I think Gamasutra is probably listening to some bad predictions here for publishing this, because I am definitely not in that same perspective. Let's see. I do notice a let's see. A lot of quotes here, so let's just go through the quotes as it goes. It's the SAAP, the State Administration of Press and Publication. Theoretically, the Ethics Committee is under that, but I'm not sure even if that's true. And it was formed in April. There's a quote here that says, "We believe that the new game approval process will become more stringent as Chinese looks to push for a healthier gaming industry." Well then, why are they not allowing like things like Fortnite? Whilst aiming to balance the economic benefits of digital games with the core values that China holds dear, she explained. Now, I am not sure, for as big as China is and as for as many people in China, there are too many core values that they hold dear. There are definitely core values the government holds dear, but I don't know if there's any real consistency amongst the people.
Greetings, friend.
Let's see, there's another quote here. "The gameplay time limit for minors already exists for PC games and is now being extended to mobile games. We've already seen companies like Tencent self-regulate in this area. For what little good it did Tencent." The SAPP also plans to reform the approval process by limiting the number of games that are approved for distribution each year, and working with Online Games Ethics Committee to crack down on games that do not abide to the core social values above, as well as provided guidance to game developers on how to create games with these values in mind. So, I mean, this is just straight censorship is all it is. Let's see. Those limitations are expected to primarily impact low-quality copycat games, which are currently flooding the market in China, along with poker and mahjong titles. Now, when you do this bit of editorialization, because that was not a quote, that it was just written by Gamasutra, you are kind of doing some yellow journalism there. It's like, oh, this is just affecting those terrible Chinese ripoff, cheap Chinese knockoff games that are flooding Steam all the time and are everywhere. Not really the case. Like, I heard the list of the first 20 games that they looked at, and the first 20 games that they also did not approve. None of them were cheap Chinese knockoffs of games. They were big AAA titles, Fortnite, things like that. The article concludes, meanwhile, the ethics community hardline stance on anything that violates China's cultural values and reputation could force developers to aggressively tone down or even remove certain elements, such as excessive violence or gore, in order to receive a license. Like, truth is that there is no China market for anything outside of China. There just isn't. And a lot of people in the West, not just the United States, but around the world, have been fooling themselves into thinking that there could be or there would be a China market. Until you have true freedom of speech and freedom of expression, you cannot have a artistic industry to sell a product. You just can't. And so it's never gonna work. Google shouldn't try to get into China. Video games shouldn't try to get into China. Hollywood shouldn't try to get in China. We should not let businesses try and get into China and thus be manipulated by China's potential promises of large profit or economic power in general. Economic soft powers, I think the phrase that they call it. Yeah. That's probably about as far as I need to go though, yeah, with China. Everybody should just know who they're dealing with and very possibly not deal with them. Probably be the right move. Next we have a game on Steam called Insurgency Sandstorm. It's rated very positively. It's a first-person shooter from New World Interactive. I've never heard of that, but I have heard of Focus Home Interactive as a publisher. This looks good. It doesn't look like it's just a asset flip first-person shooter, which we haven't seen a lot of those on Steam either lately. It's multiplayer only, unfortunately. $26.99 discounted. So, because it's multiplayer only, it's not one for me, but that's alright.
Your soul is mine.
Free me!
Again! Have that.
Free me!
There we go. Next we have a game on Steam called Starcom Nexus, which looks like a 4X sci-fi fly around spaceship trade resources game. Like so many other games in this style, it just looks boring to me. Early access, $14.44. So yeah, that's not making it to the list. So now the question is, do I want to play Hunter or do I want to play Druid? Let's try Token Druid. GameIndustry.biz has an article. The Korean developer Pearl Abyss, who I've never heard of, is going to open a US office. This is the Black Desert Online developer. They're opening a Manhattan branch. So I have heard of Black Desert Online. I'm not sure if it's ever going to gain popularity in the West though. But it's an interesting idea that they're expanding.
I must protect the wild.
You really don't see a lot of that. You don't see, like, if CD Projekt Red tomorrow said they were opening an office in the United States, I'd be like, wow, that's kind of surprising. Nobody comes to the United States to have a local office these days. Like, Nintendo of Japan made Nintendo of America, of course, but like, you really don't need anything like that, and it's really just like a small branch at most that you need if you are making a foreign office, until you get into things like Sega of Europe and Sega of America, where you're publishing a lot of things. But there aren't too many publishers and developers out there that are publishing a lot of things, even.
Speak your peace. I fight.
Let's see, we have a game on Steam called Diastone Memories Early Access. I believe you've misspelled access here. I think access is spelled with 2 S's. Well, if that's the level of quality. See, this looks like it's a photorealistic, maybe full motion video game of an adventure. But honestly, if you can't even spell the name right. Let's see.
What to do?
Support us now on Indiegogo. It says like it's full finished. It's not tagged early access. That's deceptive advertising. That's another thing the Epic Store is going to have is things that indicate if a game is in early access or not. I guess I'll put this on the fall list, but I don't feel confident in somebody who can't even spell check their title. Let's do that. And that.
I fight.
And that. Let's see. Well, I won't show this game, but I don't think it really matters if I did. It's called Adult Toy Store, which looks like it's a slide around puzzle game of some sort. It's not a slide puzzle per se, but it has some weird gameplay mechanic in it where you're just moving random objects, it looks like, and then you're walking around the store, but there's really nothing in the store that even looks that like offensive. This is English, Simplified Chinese, and Traditional Chinese, and it's $16.99, and it's in early access. So this is a great example of a cheap Chinese product, if there's one to be made or shown. Alright, let's go ahead and hit this. And attack here. But yeah, not a quality product from what I can tell. So it's not on the fall list. GameIndustry.biz has an article. Starbreeze suggests it will dump VR business. Company pledges to focus resources on the core businesses of game development and publishing going forward. So yeah. Now, Starbreeze was also the company that I believe laid off like 70 employees just a week ago. Or a few days ago. So I had already kind of predicted that Starbreeze was in some dire trouble. Let's see. This. Let's see. Next we have a game on Steam that is called You Cannot Survive. It's a low effort asset flipper. I haven't seen too many of these. It's a top-down twin stick shooter with survival aspect elements and you're just shooting people. Early access single player, which is surprising considering there's a whole team behind you. It's probably shooting zombies if I was to guess. Yep, nothing there to interest me. Alright, now let's do this. And this. And
What a bother.
Smack this one to victory. And I'm having a really good win ratio today. Really good win ratio. Not sure I've lost too many games at all. No, I've lost a couple. Maybe I'm just in a slightly better mood. Because maybe things are under control here and we're not rushing through games. Although, I probably could have broken up and done a third episode. Next we have a game called Subterraneous. It looks like it's a point-and-click adventure. I'm a sucker for point-and-click adventures, so I'll put this on the fall list. It, to be fair, is a little dark and the animation's a little zoomed out, so I can't even really see if it's good or not. But yeah, I'll put it on the fall list. We'll see what happens. Let's see, just start with that. And ignore that one, although keep that one. And ignore that one. And that one. Next we have a game on Steam called Burning Out, which is a top-down twin-stick shooter game where you're just starting fires. This feels like a troll game more than anything else. Looks terrible. Look at that horrible brown background. Yeah. Yep. No quality in that product. Let's start early with the coin for no reason. Gamasutra has an article. Ubisoft ends the automatic bans for offensive language in Rainbow Six Siege. I think you have to kind of take this title with a grain of salt because it's almost certainly not a case that they're ending automatic bans for saying things like white male, which was getting filtered out of the chat. Instead, what they're doing is they're updating the system and then allegedly having somebody review the word before you're getting banned, which maybe somebody's actually going to review it, maybe it's not. Maybe some actual human will look at the context and see that some of that's not. Meanwhile, Ubisoft still is in its same like pro censorship perspective. They are still definitely going from the idea that all of the people who paid them money and bought Rainbow Six Siege are bad people, and they need to be stopped from saying anything that Ubisoft finds offensive. Now, I don't play Rainbow Six Siege, so maybe it is that the chat is way worse than anybody else. And maybe there are some systems that needed to be put in place, but I honestly think it's just Ubisoft going off the rails. I imagine with them spending the effort to ban people or have somebody look at what people say before they ban the people, they probably will then start handing out even harsher bans than they have been up until this point.
For the wild.
But whatever, I suppose it's kind of a non-story in general, because Rainbow Six Siege doesn't strike me as kind of a relevant game. So this, and this. This and that.
For the wild.
Gematsu has an article, the quote non-violent spaghetti western stealth game end quote El Hijo, H-I-J-O, that's E-L space H-I-J-O, is coming to the PS4, Xbox One, Switch, and PC in 2019. Let's see how this does.
That was wild.
Do that. And do that. Take the win streak. Let's just ride this win streak for as far as it needs to go. We need one more victory anyways. Let's see. THQ Nordic subsidiary Handy Games will publish this game El Hijo. I'm not going to describe it every time as the non-violent spaghetti western stealth game. I don't know what a non-violent spaghetti western is, frankly. There's a trailer here, so I'll watch this trailer and see if there's anything to report here. The cartoon style,
I must protect the wild.
it looks slightly different. Like it feels like what you might see on Cartoon Network, not Adult Swim, but like Cartoon Network level cartoons where the animation probably isn't as good as it should be. But even saying that is probably not super accurate, because like a lot of the Cartoon Network and Disney cartoon animation styles now have gotten so pathetically bad. It's just awful, and it's usually all over the place. So there's like either a sister or a mother with a young boy. They were like burned out of their house, and then this sister and mother then handed him over to an orphanage. It seems like also they had him bury a slingshot and a photo of his family before she handed him over to an orphanage. But yeah, that's kind of it. Alright, let's look at the screenshots and see if I can figure out what this is. I guess it's gonna be an adventure kind of RPG type thing, but with no violence at all. That's gonna be boring. I'm sorry to be like that, but like every single time I've ever heard anybody say non-violence in a game, it has just been, oh, so the game is gonna be boring then. Like it doesn't all have to be guns, certainly, but there has to be some form of conflict, and violence is the most prevalent, easiest to write to form of conflict. I suppose maybe like Professor Layton games might be non-violent technically. Puzzle games, of course, are non-violent usually. But none of this looks like a puzzle game. None of this looks like anything. These screenshots really didn't help either. So I'll be interested in seeing what that game really is about. Although it's a THQ Nordic game, so I don't know if I'm really that interested in seeing what it's about, because, you know, THQ Nordic has already, for the most part, screwed up Darksiders, Darksiders 3, and that was their chance to prove to me that they did quality products, and I'll still end up playing Darksiders 3, but it's
we have many secrets.
well, I'm not really interested in any of their other games. I have this game on Steam called Sam and Dan Floaty Flatmates, which seems like it is a VR half raft game. It seems like it's probably not that good from the trailer and from what it's showing. Like it looks good, but I don't get the feeling that it actually is. Like, free to play, requires VR.
What?
Yeah, I think there's probably very little actual gameplay mechanics in it, and you'd be better off playing Raft co-op than this, which honestly that is what it is just a clone of Raft. Let's see what this does. Gamma Sutra has an article, get a job, Avakin Life developer, Lockwood Publishing is hiring a back-end engineer. I have no idea what Avakin Life is, but it's, oh yeah, it's like a I remember it was. I saw a picture of it. It's like an Avatar-based type VR game. Kind of like Second Life, and calling it Avakin, which probably means it's somewhat for like people who feel like they're not actually human in the first place, people with major mental problems, body dysmorphia issues, and think they were the soul of a dragon trapped in human bodies. That's their dragonkin. I'm not sure that there are too many people that really even actually believe that, or if these aren't really just communities that are 100% built around trolls being trollish to potentially themselves.
For the wild.
Let's see. Next I have a game here that's not in English. It's some Asian characters. English not supported, simplified Chinese. I couldn't tell you for a second what it is. Guess I can show it off though. It's looks like it's an RPG style game. But yeah, no clue beyond that. Like, whatever that is. Of course, things like that don't support English are not going to make it to the fall list.
For the wild. Job done.
Let's see. Gamatsu has another cool. Toho Ginso Wanderer Lotus Labyrinth has been delayed to early 2019 in Japan. No longer planned for April 25th, 2019. Let's see.
What to do?
I don't know what kind of game it is. There was no indication. Oh. They're saying it's a roguelike RPG. There we go. Found it. Let's see. Gamatsu has an article. R-Type Dimensions EX is coming to the PS4 on December 19th. Let's see. It was first released for the Switch via the Nintendo eShop and PC on November 28th. So it's already on Steam. So I probably have it on my follow list or wish list already. Here we go. Take that victory. Let's see, we have a game on Steam called Cell to Singularity, Evolution Never Ends. It looks like it's a clicker style game. Not a terrible thought, but I can see it's already mixed. Like that, it's a slightly interesting idea to make a clicker game that moves you down all these like RPG levels. I'd like to see somebody do it better, and this is free to play, so it probably has in-game transactions. Yeah, I'm not going to put this on the fall list. You know what? I'm going to keep it on the fall list and just be really generous there. And we're getting wins, so until I lose, I'm going to follow this win streak, but I only have a few more games. I have a decent amount more. I could have definitely stretched this into a third episode. Let's see. We have a game on Steam called Super Animal Royale. So it's a battle royale with animals, top-down, twin-stick shooter game. I don't know if it's really even a battle royale game though. Multiplayer only, early access. $11.69 right now discounted. Yep, we don't need a battle royale clone. Moving on. Next we have a game called VRICZAT, the virtual reality cricket game. For anybody who wants to play cricket, it doesn't look very good at all. There are better cricket games, at least one or two, on Steam. Early access and requiring VR for $2.99. This is a game that almost certainly would never get finished or polished into any good quality looking product. Next we have a game on Steam called Hunter's Trail, The Fight Never Ends. It says it's an RPG. Looks slightly polished. We're seeing credits. People are actually proud of what they made. But now that I'm starting to see the game, I don't think I really like what this is. This looks like one of those click-to-wait mobile games that has been just merged into a PC version. This doesn't look great. In fact, I've seen other games that look almost exactly like this. It's free. That's saying something. But I'm not gonna say all the followers. Remember to play. Next we have a game on Steam called Arako Saga RPG Action. This is some kind of bad animation. I don't know if I call this an art style. It's just I don't know how to draw things. Draw curves. But I guess it doesn't matter because this is, I think, also just an RPG Maker game. Yeah, this looks like this might just be an RPG Maker game. Yep, lost my interest in it. Early access, $16.19 discounted. Ridiculously high price. This guy's not doing anything. Oh, I think I could have just won this turn.
For the wilds. Job's done.
Next we have a game on Steam called Heartbeat, which looks like it's an RPG, but it looks like somebody may have put some effort into this one. And it's... Do I know this developer? No. Kind of feels like it's might have been a mobile game ported, but this doesn't look so terrible. I'll put this on the fall list and we'll see if this might be worth playing. Although what I'm effectively suggesting is that I would play something like this kind of because it looks like an old Pokemon game, and that's the really only reason. Well, take that victory. We already talked about this article, but Gamasutra has the same article, Amy Henning to be honored with a Lifetime Achievement Award at GDC 2019. We're going to follow the win streak for as much as possible. In fact, we may just go longer. Gamasutra has an article, the UK Parliament launches an inquiry into, quote, immersive and addictive technology. Now I see a picture of somebody with VR in it, a VR headset on. I'm not sure if that's what they particularly mean. And it's kind of weird that the UK Parliament is doing this right now when they're in the middle of voting out their Prime Minister and trying to negotiate Brexit or figure out what they're going to do with Brexit. Like, this is not the time to get distracted, in my opinion. Let's see. The investigation will be led by the Digital Cultural Media and Sports Committee, the DCMS, and will specifically look at how the addictive nature of some tech affects engagement with video games and social media, particularly among young users. Now, is this microtransactions and loot box gambling that they're talking about, or is this something different? Let's see. With that in mind, the inquiry will touch on various topical issues such as future of esports in the UK, the wider use of gamification, the potential link between gaming and gambling, and digital media and video game addiction. Again, the UK has bigger fish to fry, and they're always a nanny state too. They're ridiculous. Over legislating, over limiting the rights of its people like crazy. Quote, during our recent inquiries, the committee has heard repeated concerns about the impact to society of the increasing amounts of time that people spend immersed in online worlds and the potentially addictive nature of social media and gaming, explained the DCMS chairman Damian Collins. There is going to be like some hidden benefits to being more online. We've already seen quite a lot of them, but frankly, when it becomes too expensive to buy gas, when we are in a post-scarcity society and people don't have to really work in jobs, when people don't or can't socialize publicly or freely, online often solves those issues. Let's see, 3, 5, 5, 15 plus 14 should be good enough. Let's see.
For the wild.
I fight.
Keep the streak alive. Keep the streak alive. The article continues, we want to explore these concerns during this inquiry and consider the right response should be in setting public policy in the future. The committee has invited relevant organizations and experts to share any evidence related to the inquiry by January 14th, 2019. Not a lot of time, but it hasn't revealed when it's sharing its findings.
I must protect the wild.
So basically they want lobbyists to bribe them. Or maybe that's how it would be in the United States, at least, is, oh, we're going to start this inquiry. If anybody wants to talk to us, that would be great. And then a bunch of lobbyists from every concerned side bribes them with either support for their next election or straight up with bribes. Let's see. Moving on, Gamatsu has an article. Zoid's Wild King of Blast demo launches December 15th in Japan. Let's see. So I don't know if the Zoids game is going to come to the West.
The
Though.
light protects me.
Do I want to do that, or what do I want to do? Let's just wait. Next we have a game on Steam called Saber Saw VR, which looks like you have like something that kind of looks like a lightsaber that you're swinging around while saw looking sort of things come at you. Seems like a very low effort attempt at making something like Beat Saber in 3D, but not really doing it well. They want $4.89 discounted right now for this game, and of course it requires a hugely expensive VR headset. Let's see.
What?
The scourge will devour all.
I fight.
Let's see. Next we have a game on Steam called Lily, which looks like it is some kind of like music composer or something with lily flowers. Some kind of experimental music game according to the tags. Yeah, it seems like it's just a weird way to depict a music encoder. $4.99. I thought maybe it was like a Chinese or Korean game, but apparently it's English only. Let's see.
We will devour this world.
Taunt.
Binaroo!
I fight.
End the turn. Only have a handful of games left. Next we have a game on Steam called Bacterium, and then a bunch of Asian characters. It has an interesting looking thumbnail and an interesting looking trailer here, but this game does not look anything like any of that. It really just looks like you're just flying around in kind of a shoot 'em up, maybe aggro.io type game. Let's see. This seems very weird. There was this Wii game I played. Let's see, it's 20% off for $10.39. There was this this Wii game I played where
I'm waiting for no one.
I fight.
Binaroo!
Job done.
where you were doing surgery, and it kind of looked like this in some parts, but not quite. I can't remember the name of that game. It says it has single player content, but I think it really is a more of a multiplayer game. It's English and simplified Chinese. I don't think I could remember the name of this of that game I played though. Was it called Trauma Center? I don't think so.
I wonder.
What do I want to do?
Binaroo.
For the wild.
Just go ahead and hit this one once. Then in the turn. I don't know how he cleared the entire field. I guess I'll put Bacterium on the fall list and we'll see if there's anybody that likes it. I don't think people will. I think it probably won't get any reviews at all. Next we have a game on Steam called Ari's Tales. And let's see. This looks interesting. This might be an asset flip game, certainly. This definitely looks more like a T-posed thing. I don't know. This might be a game, it might not.
What to do?
Might be super simplistic style game, it might be early access style of game. $2.99. I guess something like this I can just put on the fall list and we'll see what happens if it ever comes out of early access or not. This is almost certainly just a bunch of Unity or Unreal assets that have been purchased. Yeah, the video's not really showing me anything as far as actual gameplay or what the character is doing. Besides walking. Toads. Right. So do this and then this. And then what do I want to do at this point? Do I want to kill things or do I want to wait? I'm just gonna wait. Next we have a game on Steam called Gnome's Garden Christmas Story. It looks like it's a resource management style game. Boring looking game, like so many other resource management styles of games I've seen. Okay. Let's see. I have 5, now I need 1 free space. So I'll do this. I'll do this. I'll do this. I'll do this. I'll do that. And that. And then in the turn, if he manages to wipe me out here, I'm probably gonna lose. And then my streak will be over. Poisonous. This. This.
For the wild.
This.
For the wild.
Attack there.
Job's done.
See, next we have a game on Steam called Chibisu's Costume Combat, which does not look appealing at all. Looks like it's some kind of 4-player combat game with MS Paint graphics. Early access for $4.99, multiplayer only. Yeah. Nothing interesting there. TechRaptor has this article, Robot Cash reveals 22 publishers bringing 700 games to the platform. I have no idea what Robot Cash is. Apparently it's Brian Fargo, whoever he is, blockchain-based game distribution platform. He's announced even more partnered publishers ahead of the early access period, alongside a partner portal for developers to register for the platform. Furthermore, these platforms will bring over 700 games to Robot Cash upon launch. Now, I do have some thoughts that blockchain in some ways might be useful in video games, but if it's blockchain to get cryptocurrency, which I think this is, that sounds pretty crazy. Joining publishers, the article continues, joining publishers like 505 Games, Paradox Interactive, and THQ Nordic. This update lists contains powerhouses such as Devolver Digital, and IMGN.Pro, which I've never heard of IMGN.Pro, so I'm already out of the loop. Entire list is 1C Publishing, Big Ben Interactive, CI Games SA, Danky, Devolver Digital, Head Up, Hyperkinetic Studios, Imogen Pro, Libredia, Palladius Games / Plugin Digital, Revival Productions, and Running with Scissors. That includes, that gets added to 505 Games, Anuman Interactive SA, Entrada Interactive, Foxrite Entertainment, Maximum Games. Let's just go ahead and kill this guy. Microids, Modus Games, Paradox Interactive, THQ Nordic, and Versus Evil. Thanks to blockchain technology, Robot Cash will enable publishers to take up 95% of each sale. This was an extremely high number due to the announcement of Robot Cash. Epic Games recently announced their storefront features 88/12 split. So yeah, another storefront is out there that apparently Robot Cash was announced, and it's still not anything that I even recognize. Like, the thing is, having a storefront that is built around cryptocurrency mining is going to inherently make people playing their games feel like the games are running slower because there's cryptocurrency mining going on in the background, even if that's not what's actually happening. It's just a bad concept in the first place. Alright. Let's see, next we have a game on Steam called Supreme's Casino City. First thing for a game like this is to see if it's using real money. It's $4.99 with in-game purchases, so immediately I'm out, regardless of how good this might be for a casino game. Like, it's probably not that good odds, and it's probably gonna cost you a lot of money. There's almost no casino games are free to play, where you can just continuously play free to play forever. Or even if they are capable of being free to play, they usually are amazingly annoying to play that way. So yeah, that's not making it to the list. And this guy's gonna break my streak, annoyingly. Just, I guess, kill this guy and this guy. Hit this guy.
For the wild.
This guy.
Job done.
We have a game over here called Subject 264, which is a horror amnesia style game, action adventure, suffering from dark screenshot syndrome, but it does look like it might have a little bit of polish on here, so I'll put it on the fall list and we'll see what the reviews are. I'm not sure that people are even into these styles of games anymore, or if this is straight up just this has been done. This one also requires VR, so at best it makes it to the fall list and never goes anywhere from there anyways. So he healed himself to the maximum. Unless he's gonna just let me slide and screw around. Yeah, I didn't figure he was. I did want to mention that SNK Heroines Tag Team Frenzy is still supporting that game. I don't think it's on PC. I think it's only on PlayStation 4. But they're releasing new characters still, and that's nice to see, certainly. I'm just gonna have to make a Death Rattle deck real quick. Let's new wild.
If you make a wild deck,
Death
you can
Rattle
only use
Hunter.
it in wild games.
Let's see. Death. Let's see. Death Rattle. Death Rattle. Death Rattle. Death Rattle. Death Rattle. Death Rattle. Death. 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 So do I want to get this one off the field? Let's see. Let's come over here and switch to wild and play this. And we don't really need to play rank, but we might as well. So yeah, the newest one was Jeanne, Jeanne, as far as a character being added to that game. I don't think the fighting game is amazingly great or anything. I think it's decent, but they are supporting it. Perhaps a little bit more than, say, Street Fighter. Like, I haven't heard any announcements. Maybe I'm not following the right people on Twitter, but I don't hear anything that Street Fighter is adding more characters or really doing anything good. No, they're adding ads instead. Right. So I don't want this. And we'll just stick with all of this. We have a game on Steam called Chrono, which looks like it's a platforming fighting Smash Brothers ripoff with just obnoxious neon colors of all sorts. Not anything to be interested in. We have like 2 more games. Interesting. Alright, so this is not so much a game, it's just called Ishmael, which looks like it's a text-based free-to-play game, short multimedia enhanced hypertext game about perpetual cycles of displacement and violence as seen through the eyes of the lens of a child. It's probably not great Apparently it was like Indiecade finalist. But alright. It's there if you're interested, it's free. Let's see what we want to do. This, and then this, and then this. And then end the turn. Yeah, I won't be putting Ishmael on the fall list because it's just not going to be a game. Quite simply, nothing to criticize there from a video game critic's perspective. Let's see. Next we have a game on Steam called Data Flow, which says it's an indie casual. I don't know if this is supposed to be an infinite runner or a side shooter. Well, no, it seems like what you're doing is you're just dragging a ball up and down. Oh, that's pretty pathetic as far as the game. Gameplay mechanic. It's pretty bad.
The master hungers. Job done.
Let's see, that leaves me at the Humble Bundle store. Like, I still really, I guess the Steam sale is just gonna happen. Let's see, they've got a new Vegas Pro bundle for 12 days. Pay $1 and you get Fast Cut Plus edition and voucher code for Producer Planet. If you pay more than the average of $22.34, that's high already, you get SoundForge Audio Studio 12. SoundForge used to be something that was useful to use. I don't know if anybody uses it anymore, or what it state it is in its current iterations. Let's go ahead and kill this. Vegas has kind of shifted, and then if you pay $25 or more to unlock, you have the Vegas Pro 16 Edit, Vegas DVD Architect, and Hit Film Movie Essentials. So yeah, if you're a video editor, that might be a decent deal. It might not. You might still be wasting your money. See, the thing too is if you're a professional video editor, you're probably not waiting for a sale, and you probably have a very specific workflow and software you're already using. So some of these bundles for like video editing software and such are sort of designed to trick like aspiring new artists into spending too much money and not realizing that, hey, there's an open source solution here that is probably going to do you just as fine because you don't know what you're doing yet. And honestly, you might get away with using the open source software for video and audio editing for an entire career. So now I'm back at Twitter, and unfortunately, and it would be nice to be able to leave Twitter also. Let's see. Several online websites that would be kind of nice to rage quit if I could, but I can't. And frankly, Twitter doesn't bother me that much because I have muted almost everybody. Let's see, there's a new game called Paperback that came out 14 minutes on Steam. I'm just gonna scroll down. scrolling down Twitter. Let's see. Tomorrow apparently there will be a. Let's see.
Prove your worth. Prove your worth. Mind if I roll knee?
Yeah, tomorrow Gearbox is going to be streaming a Borderlands 2 VR thing at 5 p.m. Central Standard Time from their Gearbox official channel. They'll be covering customization, movement, and BAMF time. I'm still not sure. Borderlands with the PlayStation VR is a good idea. Borderlands 2 is a good idea, but it might be, might not. They've put out a thing saying that there's at least 2 or 3 different ways you can move in that game in Borderlands 2 VR, but I don't think that's the only issue. And see, I'm already scrolling down and seeing what I already had caught up on my Twitter feed, so I don't think there actually is any more news. Let's do this. We have 0, 3.
Stand down.
Free agents.
Hey, give me that.
Let's see. What else can we kill? There we go. Apparently it's 12 days until Rage 2 comes out. I'm not sure on that one if... Yeah. No, I don't think it actually is 12 days till Rage comes out. I just saw a post that said 12 days of Rage Xmas, which it is pushing the game Rage 2, but I don't think it actually is coming out in 12 days. If it does, that's going to be quite surprising.
Reporting for duty.
So, did I play enough cards? Is the question. Did let me play enough cards? Yes, it did. So I could scroll down my Twitter feed further, but I don't think I need to. I don't think there's any more news. So we kind of did it. I think we got all 3 daily quests done on all 3 accounts. Not too bad. We're just slightly an hour over a regular hour, so this has been 2 hours. For this second episode. Yep, sounds good. I'm gonna call it a day, and then maybe later tonight I'll get back to recording some more Borderlands 2. That's it for this recording. As always, I ask you to like, share, subscribe, comment, and watch every second of my videos. If you want to friend or follow me on Facebook, Twitter, Tumblr, Google+, Steam, or Battle.net, all of those links are down below in the description box. And if you want to support me even further, you can friend me on Steam and gift me a game off my wishlist, or you can support me via Patreon. Thank you for watching. Have a good evening.